I was a party girl. I was the fun one. I was last at the clubs. I was like doing whatever came my way. I was living life. I was traveling. I was like a backpack in a bikini. Like I was a hoot. And I'm still a hoot. Like
Fucking cute.
but in a different way, like, I mean, so those still hurt me.
This is Inspired Founders, a podcast that helps you find your true north in business and beyond. I'm Priscilla Skippington, a soul-led entrepreneur passionate about sharing the wisdom of world-leading business minds who have walked the path before us. From their toughest challenges to their greatest triumphs, we explore the stories that have shaped their journey and defined their future. Together, we discover the resilience and redemption it truly takes to achieve success, make a lasting impact on the world, and live a life that is truly fulfilling.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inspired Founders with me, Priscilla Skippington. And today I am sitting down with good friend, fellow entrepreneur, Amy Shaw. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So many of my Inspired Founders now know you.
Yes.
You have been along to a few of our Inspired Founders events and spoken for us now. And we were just talking about off air how incredible it is that you're really spreading your magic across Australia now. You are from New Zealand, so we had to squeeze this episode in today.
Which I'm very grateful for.
Yes, and I'm grateful to have you here. But for those who haven't come to an Inspired Founders event and haven't heard your story and who you are, I'd love them to know a little bit about Amy Shaw and where everything started, because I know you've had a bit of a wild journey, as we all have.
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted.
It's not. And I know woven into that is obviously the personal growth journey, the spiritual journey, all of that. So share a little bit about who Amy was before it all and kind of how the entrepreneurial journey started.
I guess for me, I was probably always entrepreneurial. Even as a younger girl, I was always kind of looking at ways to create, looking at ways to build communities, looking at ways that you could kind of like problem solve. So I obviously had it as a younger girl. And then as I got older, I realized that I was quite different than everyone else in terms of how my brain worked. Some would say it's a good thing, some would say it's a bad thing. But I started to learn that I was neurodiverse, that I found learning really difficult the typical way. So I think sometimes the best entrepreneurs are neurodiverse in some way because it creates you to look at problems, at solutions in a really different way. So I think I had always had a brain that was like very visionary, very creative, but then couldn't be on time, or so there was like this real sort of polar opposites that were kind of working. So I guess a lot of that was woven in with my personal journey of being able to really love myself and honor the parts of myself that were really great, but also giving grace and kindness for the parts of me that were frustrating for myself and for other people as well. So I guess, I have spent most of my life in the fashion game. Mm-hmm. So when I left home at 17, looking for the big journey or the big experience overseas, I moved to Bondi. I worked for the Journal Pants group there, and moved my way up really, really quickly through their management scheme in Bondi Junction. Then after that, I left that, went to London and worked in a startup in high-end couture. So she did like these corsets and we worked like Sex in the City and did a lot of it was really interesting because I started it with her. So that was like a really great way of how to build a community of a really unique product. Like these corsets were like, 8,000 euros. Like they were so deeply expensive, but they were all handmade and made downstairs. So it was the first kind of view of being like, how do you build a community for such a unique product? So there was a lot of learnings through there. Then after that, I moved back and I started working for the Glassons group. So that one, and this one I used quite a bit because for me, I couldn't study. I couldn't go to university. There were certain things that I was capped at because of the way my brain worked. So I went into the stores there and I started to turn them around really quickly in terms of what product they had. I changed their staff. I changed how they reacted in each centre, and I started changing each centre so it was more relevant to the market. So I started to almost do the buying side, I guess, internally. So I went to them after making, significant changes and said, actually, I would really like to be a buyer. And they said, well, we don't have a buyer role in Australia. And I said, well, I'm going to leave if you don't. So let's create one. So in time, I turned around the stores, had some really beautiful mentors there, and then became the buyer and brand director for Glassons Australia. So I would sit in the board meetings and fight for us to be able to create product that was unique to each Queensland, Melbourne, like all the centres. So that kind of led me into that, which then I was like, oh, wow, amazing. I can create all of this for someone else. And this was a multi-$100 million company. So then I started my own business. So I started Frowtribe in Melbourne in my 20s. I was a baby, really, if I look at my career, but I was a real hustler through that period. And then, so I created Frowtribe, created the community, bought a rack of clothes, and built this amazing business over 6 years. It was just the light of my life. Fashion Week and creating community. Then I did my own label through it. Obviously wanted some higher margin products. So, I did always have my head screwed on in some ways in terms of business. And then from there, sold that and moved back to New Zealand, took over my family company with my sister and did all the creative direction for that. And then I started Lurve, which is a spiritual creative agency, fashion label, wellness platform, speaker, whatever the hell it is.
Whatever it's meant to be.
When I moved my business from 3D to 5D, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it all and it's going to make sense to me. And it's all landed and made sense, luckily. Amazing. So I guess that's a bit of my work journey as such.
Yes, I love that. And I love the diversity. And we both started in fashion and that's kind of where we've both grown from. So I love that. And I love hearing the changes you made and where you were actually able to get to without studying, without doing the traditional route, without doing what everyone says you have to do.
And I was told all through school, you'll never make anything. You don't listen. You're
I think that's most entrepreneurs.
I was like, watch me. Watch me. And now I'm like, I hope my teachers are following. But it's wild because they tell you that you're not going to amount to anything. And I look at the really gifted ones at school and I'm sort of like, what are you guys doing here? You know, because we are big thinkers. My brother's very similar. He's so entrepreneurial, has an incredible business, but then learning the typical way wasn't natural for him either.
Yeah. So talk to me about Lurve and where you're at now and how the spirituality, because it's a huge part of now what you do. And I know it's been a huge journey for you over the last so many years. How did all of that come about? Because you'd built this big business, you'd sold it, you'd moved back to work in the family business. Where did the spiritual side?
I've always been spiritual, but then as we learn through all the parts of it, we wear the masks. We change the masks, we shrink and adapt so we're palatable, we do all the things. So through Frowtribe, I probably wasn't connected to my spirituality as much. I was hustling, I was the cool girl, I was doing all the things. But again, as we all get to that stage, you realize that you're really disconnected from your soul's purpose, you're really disconnected from the light that you came to bring in this life. Now, I'm so deeply grateful for that because that built the foundation of all my future businesses and how I operate in the world. But I knew there was more. I knew I was seeing things and getting things, and I had more access upstairs in our higher consciousness. So I guess I've become really passionate about educating, and I think that's why I talk a lot about it, because I'm like, there's an easier way. I'm watching everyone hustling and disconnected and sad and depressed and anxious and lack and victim. And I'm like, we don't have to stay in that. We don't have to stay in that. And I think through my businesses and through my own growth has been massive because I surrender to something bigger than myself and I have trust in the universe, and the universe is really rewarding and allows that abundance to flow back through me. So
I love that. Again, can resonate to all of that
course,
part of your story.
Yes,
Talk to me about what was the big moment when you realized you could trust in something bigger than yourself. When did you feel like that really landed for you?
When I started loving myself, when I started honoring all parts of myself. And that's a crazy one as a female to do, a crazy one as a mother to do. I think, in our sovereignty or like our strength, we're told that we're too much or the way we're doing it is not right. But yeah, there came a real change for me when I wanted to create things my way. And so when I started anchoring in and trusting myself and surrendering to something more, I saw all my life change. How I felt inside was the first change, the peace, the calm, the loving myself, which I'd never done up until I was about 37. I was always really critical of myself, appearance-wise, what I was doing, seeking outside validation, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just sort of ripped the last few masks off and I was like, either come on this ride with me, I'm going to trigger the shit out of you, you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. And then my people found me. So it was kind of like, yeah, it just got to the point where I was like, I knew there was different. I was listening to the signs. My life was realigning. Things were just falling into place. And I knew that wasn't luck or hard work. There was something bigger at play as well.
Yeah. And we all know before things fall into place, there is somewhat of a crumbling.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the crumbling was for you before you picked it all up and rebuilt Amy?
Obviously, it blew up my life. I left my marriage.
This is where I'm wanting to go, if that's okay.
Yeah. I blew up my life. I left my marriage.
Going deeply.
Yeah. I sold my business, blew up my marriage. I did all of the things.
Because it was no longer aligned or because things were just
changed so much.
Yeah, okay.
And in fairness to that business and to my ex-husband and everyone, I wasn't always this version of myself. I grew into my full potential, I guess. And that's really uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
People don't like that as much. However, I'd changed so much. So it wasn't that I'd outgrown or out-leveled, anything like that. I just didn't fit in the same environments that I was. Doesn't mean that those environments are any less or better than where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I didn't fit in those same environments anymore.
Yeah.
So everything that didn't feel right, I blew up.
I can relate to that as well.
Yeah.
Done it as well.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage and bravery.
much,
And a lot of women or men came up and half said, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you thinking? And the other half were like, wow, you're so brave.
Yeah.
Like, you are so brave. And that's the ones that I'm like, actually, you probably want the confidence to go and do it. And that's why I'm so vocal online. And that's why I share so much, because I want other people to be able to step into their authentic self and let their life align the way that they want it to.
Yeah. And that's the piece where you're now inspiring others, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and being open and honest about, hey, actually, I just grew within myself. It wasn't that anything was wrong or bad or
No.
incorrect. It was
No.
just, it was no longer aligned with the version of you that you'd grown into.
Yeah.
And I think to be so authentic and honest with yourself is one of the hardest things, especially as women, like you said, that we'll ever do. And that's why I have the same as well. You know, some people will look and go, yeah, you've blown it all up. But actually, I just stepped into who I know I'm here to
Yes.
be,
Oh, I
and
love
I've
that.
just honored it. And it's the same with you. So how has things now drastically changed? So you've got Lurve now. What are you focusing on with women? I know you work predominantly with women. What are you focusing on in that space at the moment?
I like to say remembrance. That's probably the biggest thing, like the bridge between the two worlds, teaching people their own power, teaching them to step into their own authentic self, utilizing their own gifts to create light or abundance or community or whatever that they are searching for. It doesn't mean it's like a money business or a community or new love, but I think it's about using all of my experiences through business so I can help them scale their businesses, through transformation, because I've been through such a large one myself of remembering and unlearning of who I used to be and who I wanted to be in the future, and closing that gap. And there's a lot that we talk about through it, and the solitude, the rejection, the pain, the quiet, the shadows. Like, there's so many parts of that healing, but take the time for that healing as well. So then Lurve kind of expanded even further into then working with people's blueprint and actually building their businesses. So going into like clairvoyant threads and their business and everything that they do, to then cut some of that learnings out, allowing some of the doors and the opportunities to come forward and realign maybe quicker if they're doing that work as well. So there's lots of layers of it. But again, I think it's about all supporting each other. And I think, again, what you've created with Inspired Founders is you're kind of almost like the quiet one in some ways, but really showcasing different people doing their thing. And I think that that is probably one of the most humble but powerful roles that we can have in our industry. So I always champion the work that you do, because it allows people to stand on a platform. And I think it's really important. And it takes a really strong, I'm going to get emotional, but it takes a really strong woman to put everybody above them and be like, you know what? I see you, I celebrate you, and I put you on this platform, and for the males that you do as well. So
Thank you so much.
yeah,
you.
I think the work you do is really powerful and selfless. So
Thank you.
I see you in that, and I think it's one of the most powerful woman traits I've seen. So
Thank you so much. That
Yeah.
means so much. And
yeah,
I just believe we're playing
yeah,
sister.
yeah.
Uh, I think everyone has a story, right?
Yes.
We all have a story. We all have the ability to inspire others.
Yeah.
And for me, it's, yes, I have a story and I share
Yeah.
it from stage now, which took me so many years to have the courage to actually do that.
Well, I think I remember you being like, "Oh, this is the lineup." I was like, "Girl, you're the main character. Why are you not in there? Like, what are you up to? Like, get on that stage."
But for me, it's I know I can impact more people
Yes.
by having more inspired founders share their story and what they've gone through, because then we'll just resonate with more and more people.
And building it for assets for your community.
Exactly, exactly. Where do we go to from here? Where is, I know you've got lots of speaking gigs now, lots of podcast interviews. You're really becoming quite a name here in Oz now, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. And I'm glad Inspired Founders has been part of that and helped give you that platform, because you deserve it. What do you see next for Amy and what you're creating now?
I think again, it's like it sounds so woo woo, and I am woo woo. But
We're all woo woo.
woo woo. But I just want to create more impact and more light, and I want more people to feel like I feel, and that is ultimately the driving force of everything that I do. I wake up deeply aligned and connected with my purpose, with my life, with who I am as a person. I want everyone to feel that, because I didn't feel it for so long.
Yeah.
Up until I was probably around 37, I was still wearing all the masks. Now, authentically is when people are interested in my story, but some will turn away from it. So it's actually really hard when you get to this level, because you are making impact and you're getting so many messages of support, but you also are energetically connected to everyone. So you can see when you're pissing them off.
Yeah.
So it's like
Triggering.
it's like trying to hold the balance of doing what I believe can help people, and honoring all other parts of me and every other part that has been part of it as well. So there's a real hardness, and I struggle with that one still. Often there's certain topics I don't feel comfortable to get into. I mean, we say that, but I have no filter, but I normally regret it afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think I hope that didn't come across that way, because it's generally an overarching assumption or an overview of all the clients that I work with. They go through these layers of transformation, and I try and be as transparent as I can, so that when they're in it, they're like, "Oh, I remember that solitude, it means this," or "It's not actually about me, it's about them," So I try and help people along the journey.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it is. I think I said to you when we caught up for lunch this week and just laughed until we cried. But
It was so much laughter.
so much laughter. But now I've lost the point of the conversation.
Where are you going to?
So this year I came in and I was like, surprise me.
Yeah.
I said to the universe, I scrapped all the vision boards, I scrapped all the mood boards, I scrapped all the visions of myself,
Yeah.
which had got me to a certain point. And I said, surprise me.
Yeah.
Show me what is out there for me. And this is the first year, like, honestly, it was like, woof. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I couldn't even fend all the opportunities and had to say no to some really beautiful ones. But I was like, surprise me. At the level that I love myself, show me what my career looks like. Show me what impact looks like. Show me what my community can look like. And I've been so surprised, because even I last year realized I was playing small.
Uh-huh.
I was still shrinking myself to the version that I felt.
Guilty.
Yeah, 100%, right? And I think I said that to you at lunch. I was like, scrap all the plans and just allow it to meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're surprised as strong entrepreneurial female women. That is spiritual.
Absolutely. And I think we're in the perfect year for that as
Yes.
well. It's like all these plans, ideas, goals, how we thought our life was going to look.
Yeah.
I mean, 2025 really showed us that no,
Yeah.
that's not how it's going to
We're gonna
happen.
take that. We're gonna take that.
We're
Like,
going to
this
shred
is
that
your-
all away.
You didn't want that, did you? I'll take that. It's like, oh, it did kind of.
And then even people have been surprised beginning of 2026 how things have felt still so laggy and like you're
Yeah.
still walking through concrete and nothing has felt smooth and easy. But I think it is all this part of like getting rid of all those masks, all those things that
Yeah.
now feel heavy, that are no longer aligned, and pulling us back to, well, maybe it's not about the plan. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just coming back to who we actually are and allowing ourselves to create or be led to creation rather than feeling like we need to know where we're going.
And also like the judgment and the envy and like all those things is really working in that. And I've had to sit with like shadow parts of my ego to be like, am I doing this because I like being seen, or am I doing it because I'm creating more impact? So I always go back to every business opportunity. I'm like, actually, I see what I want out of that, and it's
Yeah.
actually not of my highest good.
Yeah.
So that took a lot for me to separate the two.
Yeah.
But really honoring everyone on their journey too, because I was that journey too, and it doesn't mean that my journey's any better, but it is for me.
Yeah.
Because now I'm happy and light and free and
Yeah.
feeling like I can see a lesson, not a victim. Like all those sorts of things. You only know what you know.
Correct. Yeah. And I don't think there's ever an end point. We're always learning. We're always growing. There's
Yeah.
always more. Talking about what we were just talking about just a second, what you were talking about just a second ago, how do you deal with knowing that there are eyes on you that maybe aren't always
I
pleasant?
still struggle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really big one to talk into, especially for female founders. How have you dealt with it? How are you dealing with it? Especially now your light is growing.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me is when I had the fashion business, when I had the furniture, I was celebrated so loud.
Mm.
And then I went to doing something that was personal brand based, spiritual, and maybe outside of the realms of the normal little box that people are used to. So
Or the identity people were used to for you.
I was the party girl. I was the fun one. I was last at the clubs. I was like doing whatever came my way. I was living life. I was traveling. I was like a backpack and a bikini. Like I was a hoot. And I'm still a hoot. Like
Fucking you.
but in a different way, like, I mean, so those still hurt me. And I would lie if I said like I've grown thick enough skin that it doesn't. And I can feel energetically when people are watching from the spiritual world and they're like, she's lost it because she's out there spruiking it. And then I watch the people that used to celebrate me being like, oh, she's lost it because she's in the woo-woo. So there's all these identities that people are uncomfortable with. I think, again, it just every time it hurts and every time something happens and there's like a betrayal or something, I have to go back into myself and I have to love myself a little bit more. And I have to be like, okay, what are you doing in this life? And what do you want to feel like at the end? What do you want your kids to visualize you through their eyes?
Yeah.
And that puts me back into, okay, I'm where I'm meant to be. And then my community and the women and men that I work with, because I work with a lot of men now that the women are waking up, because they're like, oh, catch up. Like, you've got to be part of it. So so I just keep trying to anchor it in and go, actually, your message that you're trying to spread is really important, because I know all the hundreds and hundreds of women and males that I'm changing. But also, I don't have to change your life. If you don't like it, it doesn't have to be your message either.
Yeah.
And it's just about giving people respect in what they do. And that's why I try and hold no envy and jealousy and judgment, because I'm like, that's their path and that's what they came to do. And that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So be just, if you're feeling that way, give grace and give understanding that they are okay and they are allowed to speak their truth in their own way.
Yeah.
And try and understand it from more of a balanced point of view.
Yeah.
But it does hurt. And I always say, like, just be a kind human.
Just be, exactly.
Just be a kind human.
A kind, understanding human, because you never know actually what's going on in someone's life or has gone on in someone's life and the journey that they're on. And I do believe in the saying, it's usually more about them than it is about you.
Yeah, 100%.
And not to say that it's on them and
No.
we're blaming them,
No.
but it's like there's stuff going on.
Yeah.
And you would even know in your life, there's things that go on in your life that you don't talk about,
Oh,
that you don't
100%.
share.
Yeah.
And no one would know about
No.
that. But it impacts how you show up and how you react. And and social media, I mean, is just now a breeding ground for it. So, but that's a really great answer. I would love you to share three things that any entrepreneurial woman who's at the point of, I know I'm here for more.
Ooh.
I know I need to impact more people. I know I'm spiritually gifted. I know that's a part of me, but I'm scared to own that and put that out there. What would your 3 pieces of encouragement be?
It would be, if you are not authentically yourself, your people can't find you.
Yeah.
The soulmates, the business, the relationships, the longer you be someone else is the longer you are avoiding your highest timeline. So I think authentic is the only way to build a personal brand. If you are copying someone else, if you are mimicking what someone else is doing, it probably won't work. So it's actually about really pulling out your own authentic gifts and then creating a business out of that. People are like, what does she do? And I kind of like that about me, because
There's
I'm
that
like,
mystery.
I'm like, I don't even know, like whatever the day brings,
Yeah.
So
Let's work together and see.
yeah. And I do so much collaboration, so much joint events. Like I've just done like a, nervous system reset with a gorgeous girl in Christchurch. And it's just like really starting to like mix the soup and, blend communities and things like that. But yeah, it is. What was the question again?
3 words of advice.
Oh, okay. So be authentically yourself and your opportunities and people will find you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the people that are judging you, because they probably don't have your best interests at heart at the best of times. So just close that door, build up a little bit of resilience and just move forward and be delusional.
Yeah.
Like
I saw the number plate Delulu on the drive
be
here.
delulu. Like who's stopping you? Like we can access anything. It's not the special few. Be so delusional that people think you're crazy till you make it.
Yeah. I love that so much. I just saw lights then when you said that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And for anyone who hasn't been to an Inspired Founders event, I'm so glad you've now got to listen to Amy Shaw. And I can't wait to be coming over to NZ to you soon.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So that we can expand Inspired Founders over there.
Yep. No, we are very excited to have you. That's what we need.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into this inspirational story. Lucky for you, the inspo doesn't stop here. We have an Inspired Founders Facebook community, a space created just for you to learn, listen, and ask questions from our inspired founders themselves. This unique community is designed to uplift and motivate you to take actions on your own stories and dreams. You'll find the link within our show notes. We can't wait to see you in there.